Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we have the end of the month, and that means it's time for a new end of month tier list. So, in today's video, we're taking all of the legends in the game, putting them on a tier list for you guys to help break down what the best characters are and what the not so great characters are. So, as of right now, it is the 1st of May. We are about less than 2 weeks out from anniversary, and this particular tier list is based off all the characters up until this particular point. Now, I'm including the end of month batch being Femboy, Law, and Beppo. We have Kid Killer. We've had a bunch of fun stuff since the worldwide anniversary, which was only like a month ago from what it feels like, with like Blackbeard, with Cross Guild. Obviously, we've had More Perona and Dofi Sugar in the game for a little while, but this will be the first tier list before anniversary. We'll do another one towards the back end, but we'll probably do an end game tier list there. Sort of just helping you guys decide what units will be the best to max out and prioritize and whatnot too. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, I do take the entire game into consideration. Stuff like PK level 100 plus is a big one for this particular type of tier list. Obviously, we have all like Colosseums, arenas, all of that kind of stuff. Pretty much every character can beat them, but what characters beat them the fastest, the smoothest, with the most success rate, and the safety rate, they're going to be the ones that sort of sit a little bit higher. Obviously, stuff like Grand Voyage does take a little bit of preference, because you do need to use particular characters and max them out for Grand Voyage, but I do like to do a bit of a separate tier list for both that and PvP. So we're really looking at Treasure Map, Kizuna, 10 stars, PK, all of the regular tap timing stuff that you will be doing on your day-to-day basis, and where particular characters fall into place in that regard. But if you agree with anything, let me know in the comment section below. If you disagree, let me know down below there as well. And if you enjoy the video, belt the like button. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button, because we got a lot of stuff coming. Like, anniversary is literally 2 weeks away. I'll be in Japan, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of great at the same time. So, we'll hopefully try and keep up with as much as we can before we leave. But, like I said, if you enjoyed the video, bell like button, hit the subscribe button. With that said, let's dive into the tier list for April 2024. Here we go, last month's tier list. Looks a little bit like this. And before we dive into, obviously, the new characters, we're going to move some stuff around, because obviously things change depending on the meta and what stuff looks like in terms of classes and colors and what's boosted for the month and what all is going to be very, very good as well. So we're going off the month ahead, which is very Cerebral focus, obviously, with the new characters, and they're going to make characters sit a little bit higher. But the top 10, obviously the Gear 5 combination, they still the best characters in the game, man. Like, until the 10th annie, I think this character definitely will stay there. Like, obviously, I haven't spoken about the new units, but there's a bit of a sneak peek for you. Zoro Sanji is still fantastic. A lot of people say that Zoro Sanji is only good for Kizuna, but look, I disagree. Like, their utility is so good. The damage output's great, and you can just, like, their super swap is insane. Nami Karina, the best, like, farming unit. Honestly, for Treasure Map, this unit is goated. Like, if you're a mid-game player, you just want to get this unit just for Treasure Map. Like, it saves you so much heartache when you're doing team building if you're not summoning on, like, every single Treasure Map banner. Sanji and Nami, they're still very, very good, but lately I think Uta definitely has trumped them, and that's more because we've moved into a meta of Cerebral characters. It's not that these characters are bad, it's just that they haven't had any chance to shine recently. Same with Zoro. Like, Nami, she was okay in some of, like, the last PKAs, but other than that, like, we haven't had a real spot where we've needed to use these types of characters. And I think, honestly, Usa's going to still be very, very good because of that in Cerebrally meta that we definitely moved into. Roger and Odin still very, very good, and then Kaido's still absolutely fantastic too. As for God tier, this God tier down here, these characters are pretty much just, like, just off the top 10. Like, they're all just still absolutely fantastic characters. Yamato Ace for new players is just absolutely insane. Luffy Yamato is still incredible for new players as well, with their bind removal and, like, damage output. This Yamato is really, really good. She's kind of finicky to use and sort of solve for big damage teams. As for Momo, best EXP captain, I think he's better than Marco, even though he is slower, I know. But for majority of content, Momo is going to be the best option if you're doing harder content. Bonnie's exceptional, but honestly, I'm going to bring Bonnie down to meta. I do think Bonnie could definitely see God tier level. Her damage output is insane, and her utility is kind of nice, but, like, yeah, I think she's more of just a meta character at the moment. Like, she's good because Free Spirit is kind of keeping her there. As for K-Dad, Roger, like, all these other characters are so fantastic. Blackbeard is insane for treasure maps. Just the fact that you can bypass defensive effects is insane with no condition. Law 6+ is super fantastic. He works great with this Yamato. And then Cross Guild are just absolutely insane as well. The Perona and Mori unit, I'm definitely going to drop down. I thought they were going to be way better than they actually are. They're really, really good on paper, don't get me wrong, but I think that the Dofi Sugar is actually way better. Like, just way, way better. Like, disgustingly better. It's, like, not even close to how much better they are. They're just the special bind removal, and the barrier removal is insane. The barriers especially, like, any content that throws 3 turns of barriers at you is just so finicky to deal with. As for Lilith, I think Lilith is really, really good. Definitely a meta character. Burgess, I'm going to drop Burgess down to S tier captain. I think his best option, obviously, is like when you tap, you can get around the chain shenanigans, but like it has to be below, not like, hey, it's here. As for the Straw Hats, man, the Straw Hats have almost seen their time. Kid Law, still kind of fantastic. Honestly, more used as a sub than anything. Pretty much just for big damage teams, if I'm completely honest with you. But their Tandem Orb manipulation is actually pretty handy with all of these new... Actually, I'll leave them up here. With all these new abilities that, like, you need to have stuff like Tandem Orbs or Rainbow Orbs, where every orb is kind of like 90% attack down, and Atlas is like the only one that can get around that. Like, these types of characters do see, like, really, really good play with that. Uta is fantastic. Robin's still great. She's more of a damage dealer. And then everyone else here is pretty spot on. As for ST captains, I'm pretty happy with ST captains. I don't think anyone needs to move. Definitely Otama can come down. Otama's very, very good. I do think she has a lot of potential, but we just haven't really seen that potential yet. Kind of like Ryoku Gugu and Perispero. Like, they never really gave them content to show them how powerful they are. I'm definitely going to bring Boa up into S tier captain. Her Despair removal in her super type is really, really strong. Especially for content that doesn't allow you to do that now, because if you remove stuff, like the enemy has interrupts, and this is a super type, which makes it very, very good. As for everything else is pretty spot on, to be honest. Where is Robin Koala? I need to bring Robin Koala up. That's a character that I've definitely undersold wherever they are. They're probably an S tier sub, surely. Yeah, here they are. S tier sub. Honestly, like, at the moment, I'm going to bring them up to meta just because they've been so good with their barrier removal, color affinity, and multi-stage orb boosting. They're a fantastic legend, and they're really, really good in PvP as well. So, other than that, I'm pretty happy with how everything else stands. S tier subs are fine. This one here, level limit break, by the way. LLB stands for level limit break. These characters need dupes to make them very, very good. If they're at the top end of these echelons, they could probably sit a little bit higher. But the thing is, you need level limit break for them to be good. PvP focus, these characters you're pretty much going to mainly see PvP play. Doesn't mean they're bad in the regular game, but like this is majority of where they're going to sit, or they would sit sort of lower than down here. But the reason you're leveling them up nowadays is for PvP. AT captains, AT subs, AT level limit break. It's just sort of worse than what you've seen above. Support tier, these characters are basically only ever used as your supports. You're not really going to see any other use for them. And then you go down to sort of your B tiers here. B tier level limit break, all that kind of stuff. Need some love. Obviously, these characters they need a little bit of work. They need a little bit of attention to sort of see a resurgence. Like, these two being Pirate for Rest of Us Recruits now, Legends now, is actually so funny. But let's have a look here at B tier sub, actually. Can anything move down? Honestly, Kaido needs some love. That Kaido needs love. Obviously, he's a verse unit, so I don't know if he's going to get it. But, yeah. Yeah. Probably it. But let's talk about the new units. Yay, new units. We love new units. First of all, we got the new 6+ of Bonnie. First of all, let's find Bonnie. Where is Bonnie? I think her was an A tier captain, right? Maybe she's a B tier captain. Bonnie got a level limit break, and her level limit break is actually pretty good. She becomes a chain boundary unit, which is exceptional. And she also is an attack booster for Int, which is very, very nice. But she's still solely focused around Int, which does hold her back. She's still technically a Rainbow Captain. But in my opinion, I just think that the level limit break 6+ is way better. I love that they did this, where they gave her a level limit break, and it's more of a side grade, because they made her Cerebral, not Fighter. But the Cerebral boosting is just way better, in my opinion. I think Bonnie's really, really good. She's a really, really good 6+. Adding the Cerebral tag just gives her a much wider dimension for team building. They did make her color affinity, though, instead of an attack booster, which I do think is way worse. But her ability to sort of just keep recovery rolls whenever you hit type advantage, get around special bind, get around special reverse, get around fear, as well as give a monster chain boundary for 2 turns and a really good color affinity, she's very, very good. She's a very, very good unit. Like I said, I wish she was an attack booster, because then she would work really, really well along something like Robin Koala. But that's what we have, and I think they did a really, really good job with Bonnie. The upside too is you can actually hybrid both this Bonnie and this Bonnie up together and just build mono in teams, and you can do some really fun stuff there. Moving on, we've got S-Shark. S-Shark in regular play, honestly, I wasn't disappointed. I thought S-Shark was really, really good. He's got like blowaway immunity, which could make him very, very good. But obviously, he's a PvP legend. He's going to be PvP focused. Decks are still very strong. I don't think they're in the top 3 best teams. They do sit in the top 5 though, because if you try and go up against decks and you don't use a strength team, or you don't have a way of bypassing defensive abilities, you're basically going to get timed out. Plus, with the counter mechanic that S-Shark has, is very, very scary stuff. So just be careful if you're versing decks. Make sure to bring strength, or make sure to use stuff like S-Hawk and Roger Whitebeard and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, just like S-Hawk, I actually really like both of them in regular play. I just think, obviously, they're built for PvP, so that's pretty much where we have to put them. Next, we've got the Vegapunks. Now, the Vegapunks release was very interesting, because I could have swore that this guy was going to be an anniversary exclusive, and that's if we went down the route of like the Egghead kind of anniversary stuff. But as of me recording right now, I just did my prediction video and like my thought video. I'm not too sure where we're going to go with anniversary. I would love to see something to do with Emperors and whatnot, but for the meantime, from what I can see here, it's like the Vegapunk stuff, it's kind of done. So first of all, we got the Treasure Map Legend in Atlas, and Atlas is really, really good. Like, really, really good. She is the only character in the game that can get around that attack down with a certain type orb or a certain tandem orb. Like, any orb that they put up the buff on themselves that lowers the attack of that particular orb, Atlas is the only character that can remove it. Just flat rate. Plus, as a captain, she can get around attack down, which is incredibly valuable. Characters like K-Dad, characters like Rayleigh Gaban, all those types of units are seen as some of the best units in the game, all the most useful units in the game, purely because they have this ability. And now that you have a Cerebral character that can do that, and you can hybrid her up with, say, something like Uta, get around Paralysis, Special Reverse, and Attack Down, some of the most annoying mechanics in the game, like, Atlas is awesome. On top of that, she has that ability that Lilith has. I think she's better than Lilith in the sense that she can double stack orb boosting, but the reason I think she's better than Lilith is because she has that attack down in her captain ability. She also has the ability to bypass defensive effects with her specials. She gives herself like a Carrot Wander effect, which is kind of weird because she then removes damage reduction by 6 turns, which is just super strange. But then with her super type, she can apply an attack boost, so just like Lilith, and if you hybrid these two up together, you get a very, very nice combination of attack boosting and orb boosting, and then double stacking them, and then allowing you to get an attack boost and an orb boost with the super types as well. Unfortunately, one's a super. They're both Cerebral super classes. There's no super typing there, but in the same sense, they are very, very good when you run them together. Getting around very finicky stuff with like just spare removal, attack down. Like you don't even need the attack down removal because you're doing something like this, but if you need to, if you get, say, Despair and attack down, you could use something like Lilith and then get around it that way. Lilith's more built for sort of like speeding through content with her end-turn damage, where Atlas just gives you a much more well-rounded variation for your team. She also makes Strength Orbs matching, which is super weird. I think they might do something with Strength Orbs in the future. But then she gives you a full body Strength Orbs with her super class as well. So she's an interesting character, but I still think she's very, very good. And I think that she's probably going to be your Cerebral leader if you're not using something like Uta. Uta's just a little bit of a lower multiplier. But the two of them, they work exceptionally together. Honestly, these three together work really, really nicely. As for Vegapunk Stella, another character that released as a Kazuna Legend, super weird that we got like Kazuna Legend, Treasure Map Legend, and then regular Legend, and then the rest are just rare recruits. Very, very odd. Vegapunk, he's very interesting. Honestly, he could be your best Cerebral captain if he didn't have one particular condition in his condition. His captain condition, sorry. He has to have 6 Cerebral characters. And for me, like, that is a huge problem. Like, that is a massive problem when team building. If you are bringing 5 Cerebrals and then you just need, like, a character that's really good for the content, and it's not Cerebral, you basically just lose your entire captain ability, which I think is a huge problem for the character. But the upside to the unit is he's special, and that's what's going to make him so good in the meta. He can be an attack booster, he can be an orb booster, he can be a chain booster, he can be a color affinity booster, he can be base stats, he can be a conditional. He does so damn much, and on top of that, his specials aren't affected by interrupts. So, like, if you go into a content, say, for example, the Blackbeard PK that's out right now, and you use his special to get an attack and an orb boost, it's not going to trigger that interrupt that gives you all those nasty effects, which is really, really good. Like, a really, really strong ability. Like, ridiculously strong ability. However, just having that ability alone doesn't really make him, like, the echelons of, like, the best character in the game. And I feel like it's only going to really work when you're throwing him on these teams with all these other Vegapunks, or on a Cerebral-based team. Upside to him, though, is he also has the ability to double increase the buffs that you give. So if you have someone that can increase an attack boost, and another character that increases attack boost, use the Vegapunk attack boost, and then you increase it twice, you can do some really fun stuff there. But he also has a super tandem, and works exceptionally well with literally every other Straw Hat and every other Vegapunk in the game. So I do like what they did with him. At the moment, I think he's just, like, he's a meta character because Cerebrals are so good. Well, they're, like, not it's not that's so good, but, like, Cerebrals are getting so much love. But, like, for me, I would rather look at using these two characters here. I'd honestly rather look at something like these characters. But in saying that too, he's going to be a super type booster, and once you kind of get all of this popping and we start using some characters like, where did I put Kobe? Kobe should be in, like, S tier sub. Yeah, once we start using, like, Kobe for some, like, captain swapping stuff, you should be able to do some really, really cool stuff with the Vegapunks, because these types of characters have the ability to sort of increase attack and orb boost when you use them. So you could use Kobe as your color affinity booster, have Vegapunk as your captain, use his super type to increase buffs, and then swap in something like Lilith, and then just continue to use more buffs and more super types and more super classes. So that could be, like, a really, really fun way of just getting and maximizing all your buffs. So great unit. I just think Atlas, out of all of them, did seem to get the most love. I'm gonna put Odin and Toki back down into S tier sub, I think, and I'm gonna drop you down to A tier sub. I think this unit fucking sucks, dude. Odin and Toki are really, really good. They have that sort of Kinemon Dendro effect. Any slasher, man, is just still so high because of this character right here. Like, the ability to make everyone free spirit slasher is just unfair, bro. Like, it's just crazy. Moving down now, we have the two latest legends, and honestly, I haven't really given them too much play, and I haven't really given them too much thought, to be honest. I know with Kid Killer, if you tap with type advantage, you're going to get bomb orbs. And then with the Femboys, you're going to get tandem orbs, which is really interesting. The Femboys seem to have a very good super swap. They can get, like, a guaranteed conditional with defense down. I believe there's something to do with attack boosting, possibly. I'm not... Oh, no, with base stats, sorry. But both these characters, from what I read initially, seem quite mid. I know the Femboys boost Cerebral, Dex, and Int, and then Kid Killer, they boost Dex and Int, and then I think Psi or Strength, or I don't know, some other weird color. Both of them do seem like good characters. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think they're bad characters, and I'm gonna put them in meta for now, purely because, like, we've moved into this kind of cerebral-y kind of meta with Ints, and both these characters technically fit that mold. But in saying that as well, I just don't think they're great characters with what they're actually providing. They're kind of... You need extra debuffs on yourself to get the most effect out of the Femboys. And Kid Killer, like, they're all based around bomb orbs, which, like, we've seen that kind of just fall off super fast within characters like Dex Kid and... you give, like, bomb or manipulation, but that's just fucking weird. So, they're not bad characters, don't get me wrong. I just don't see them as being some of the best characters in the game, like we have up here in our top 10 and our God tier. But hey, it's the start of the anniversary, who knows? They could, like, definitely make these characters very, very viable with what the characters look like for the anniversary celebration. But in the meantime, we're going to stick them in meta for now, because I do think within the meta of what's going on, these characters, they are quite nice. As for, like I said, as for the rest of the tier list, I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on here. But let me know if you guys have any variances or disagreements or anything like that. Let me know down below. While you're down there, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.